Hello everyone, and welcome to the Financial Aid portion of College Night. My name is Chris Hatcher, and I'm the Financial Aid Director at Gulf Coast State College. And this is a bit of an unusual format this year, but what I'm going to try to do is talk about financial aid for a few minutes and show you some of the vital websites that you'll need to be going to throughout the next few months to apply for financial aid from many different types of sources. So first, if we go to Gulf Coast's website and you hover over the tuition and aid menu item, you'll see our website here, Financial Aid. So when you click that, you go to our home page. And there's a lot going on here, but let's talk about some of the first things that you're seeing. So on the right here, this icon here is talking about the free application for federal student aid, which is the main application that the Department of Education has students apply to receive financial aid. So when you go to our website and you click this icon here, it's going to bring up the Department of Education's website. And essentially it's studentaid.gov. The government recently consolidated all of their financial aid websites so that this location, studentaid.gov, is the central repository for information on financial aid that they offer and also how to apply for it. So to apply for the FAFSA, you simply hover over the Apply for Aid and click Complete the FAFSA form. Now, the application that you're going to be doing depends on when you're going to be starting classes. So for example, if you're starting in the summer of 2021, there is a 2020-2021 FAFSA that you'll be submitting. But the FAFSA has to be renewed every year. So if you're not going to be starting classes until fall of 2021, or if you're going to be doing both of those semesters, then you'll also need to submit the 2021-2022 FAFSA. So it's a bit confusing when we're talking about which application you need to submit and when you need to submit it. But back to our webpage here, we have a lot of informational videos that you can view that talk about the financial aid process and try and break it down. So when you click here on the left, it pulls up our financial aid TV website, which has many different videos that talk about the financial aid process and really kind of, like I was saying, try to discuss all the different kinds of things that go into applying for financial aid. So this is a free resource that we offer. So please feel free to use these videos and learn about the financial aid process. So when you submit the FAFSA, the government sends us a report, and it's that report that tells us what all you're eligible for. So in order for us to receive your report, then we need you to add our school code to your application. And our school code is 001490. Again, that's 001490. And so that will essentially begin the main part of the financial aid process. You will submit the FAFSA to us, we will get a report, and then we'll use that information to determine what you're eligible for. And that could be any number of things, primarily the Pell Grant, which is the government's largest free money program. And currently this year, students can be eligible for up to $3,000 of Pell Grant per semester. So with how affordable Gulf Coast tuition and fees are, $3,000 goes a long way. So we definitely encourage you to submit the FAFSA and try and see how much assistance the government is willing to give you. Separately, the state of Florida has financial aid that you can apply for. And really, this is primarily with Bright Futures. So Bright Futures is a scholarship that the state of Florida offers to students who have certain GPAs and have certain test scores and complete a certain number of community service hours. So you do a lot of that work while you're still in high school. However, you still need to submit the state's financial aid application in order for them to begin their process of determining what money they have that they can award to you. So what you'll do is you'll go to floridastudentfinancialaid.org, and then you'll click on the second option here, states, grants, and scholarship applications. and that's where you will submit the application that the state needs to determine eligibility. And all these programs on the right are financial aid options that they have. And when you click these links for each of these programs, it brings up a PDF that talks about the specific financial aid program, what its eligibility requirements are, and more importantly, how much money that could possibly result in. So the Florida Student Assistance Grant, for example, is like the Pell Grant in that it is free money that you don't have to pay back. And students can be eligible for up to $1,600 or more per semester of Florida Student Assistance Grant. So ideally, if you're submitting the FAFSA to the federal government and you're submitting the Florida financial aid application to the state of Florida, hopefully you're eligible for both those two money programs and stacking your financial aid so that you have not only enough to cover your tuition and fees and your books, but also enough to receive a refund that would help you pay for living expenses like rent or utilities, food, transportation. So that's the second application that you need to do in order to apply for financial aid here at Gulf Coast. Thirdly, we have what's called a foundation, and a foundation is a separate organization that raises money in the community in order to donate those donated dollars to students in the form of scholarships. So Gulf Coast State College has a foundation, and that could be a separate avenue for you to potentially receive financial aid. The foundation has certain eligibility requirements, and they have very specific application windows that typically don't open up until December, so it might be a little bit until you're submitting this particular application, but once the application is available, I highly recommend that you submit this, because again, that stacking theory comes into play in that if you can get Pell Grant from the federal government, you can get something like Florida Student Assistance Grant or Bright Futures from the state government, and then you can possibly get a scholarship from our foundation to make it a very good financial situation going to school here. And then lastly, there are private scholarships available for students to obtain from private organizations or businesses. And there are many ways that you can search out for private scholarships in the United States, but the main tip is that you shouldn't have to pay an organization or a company for them to help you apply for private scholarships. If you were to do a Google search, you probably would find many companies that would be willing to assist you, but they're going to charge you a fee for doing so. And we would say to avoid those at all costs, because I've never once in my 14-year career heard a student say that they paid X company $100 and it resulted in Y amount of financial aid. They seem to normally be scams. So there are websites out there that offer scholarship search opportunities for free. They may have a lot of emails that they bombard you with, but their freeness makes them the better option to go for when you're applying for those fourth options of private scholarships. So this is just one, fastweb.com. There are many others, but we suggest that you do that as well, again, to try and stack as much financial aid as possible. So inevitably, students often have many questions about the financial aid process. So there are a number of ways that you can get a hold of us. First, and this is somewhat new for us, we have chat feature on our website. So if you go to the Financial Aid website, you can click that little yellow link at the bottom right like I did. The Commodore comes up, and he can answer general questions about how to apply for financial aid. How do I apply for financial aid? And you will get information and videos that try and assist you with those sort of non-specific questions. Next, if you have still some other questions, there are a number of ways that you can get in contact with us. All of my team members' emails and phone numbers are listed here towards the bottom, but primarily I want you to realize that we are open. So if you want to come visit us in person, that is certainly available, even with everything that's going on. So we're in the Enrollment Services Building, room 135, And there's a kiosk that you'll sign into when you get to our part of the Enrollment Services building. But then once you get there, we'll call you in and we'll go over any questions that you have. Our email address is fa@gulfcoast.edu. That's another good way of contacting us and getting your questions answered as soon as possible. Our main phone number is listed here as well, the 850-872-3845. That's somewhat limited to general questions, however, due to trying to protect students' identity and not divulging personally identifiable information. But you're more than welcome to call us. And then another new option that we have, and we just literally started this, is that you can schedule a virtual meeting with us. So we realized that with everything that's going on, students might want to see us, but they might not be able to be in front of us face to face. So you can use this link to schedule a virtual meeting with either Zoom or Microsoft Teams so that we can virtually discuss whatever questions you have about the financial aid process. So from here, there's probably a whole lot that I could talk about with financial aid and go on and on. But suffice to say that we're glad that you came to college night. We look forward to helping you navigate the financial aid process, and please don't hesitate to ask us any questions that you have. We're here to serve, and we would like to make this as smooth of a process as possible and trying to find as much financial aid as possible. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your college night, and we look forward to serving you in the future. Thank you very much.